Well, we're going to get started in just a minute. If others join a little bit later, that's fine. We'll just pull them right on in. But I wanted to welcome everybody that's here and thank you for taking the time to join us. Really excited to have you here doing our kind of a virtual tour of Shasta College, primarily focused on our agricultural and our career technical education programs, kind of that all sit down together and share space on the actual campus. I really wish we could have you there. We're going to do the next best thing. We have some program tours of the different programs that we've had pre-recorded, so we're going to share those with you. You'll get to kind of meet the instructors and see a little bit of the areas and spaces that they're in for those different program areas. And then after we do that, while we're doing that, I want you to be thinking about questions that you have for those program areas, because later in the program, we're going to have some breakout rooms where we'll have a representative from each one of those areas available. And you'll be able to I'll assign you into rooms kind of from your first preferences, but we'll get you spread out, and then you can leave those rooms. You'll come back out to me, and then I can put you in another room. So we'll kind of work it a little bit like a virtual, think of it as like a virtual career day or college, kind of exploration day. So we're going to make the most of it as we go. And then, of course, you have your great hands-on activity with our horticulture department provided some great kits to do a transplant activity with you. So we'll be doing that live. And then, of course, live, there's always glitches that could happen. So just ask in advance for everyone's patience and grace as we work through that. And then our Shasta College Ag Leadership students are also going to be live with you. And I'm available for you to ask questions about just what is it like, what has their experience been like. So be thinking of questions you can ask them. I mean, I think some great questions for all of these folks are, especially when you're talking with the current Shasta College students, where did they go to high school? How did they get interested in this? What are their plans next? And then when you have those breakout rooms, be thinking about what kind of careers are at the end of it? What are some of the things that you should be thinking about if that's an area that you have interest in? What are some things you can be doing now, whether you're a freshman or whether you're a senior, to kind of get you prepared for that next step? So to start off, as we get going, I did have a little poll that I wanted to launch for everybody. Now, some of you are in rooms, so you're probably going to have to come to some consensus answers, but I'm going to open up this poll. I'm going to leave it up for about 2 minutes, and then I'll close it down, and then I'll be able to let everybody kind of see what the answers are. Now, polling is new for me, so hopefully I'll be able to quickly figure out how to share the answers out. And if not, then we'll share them later in the program. So I'm going to do that now. So there's 4 questions. Take a look at each one, come up with your answers, and I'll leave this open for about 2 minutes. Do you all see the poll, hopefully? About 30 seconds left. right, it looks like there's about half of us still that haven't answered. I'll give it just a few more seconds.
Those groups that are trying to come to a joint answer.
A consensus, I know, I'm sure that's probably it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close it in the interest of moving forward, and hopefully it's going to really easily tell me how to share the results. Yay, you can see. Okay, so apparently we are all good with pineapple on pizza for the most part, and I fall into that category. I did not vote. So ag-related and or CT classes activities. So it looks like everyone, you know, there's a good general knowledge and experience in all of those areas. So that's great to see. Winter or summer? I'm glad we all said summer because we live up here, right? Like it would be really bad if everyone was like, please winter, because you gotta love the summer if you live in Northern California. And then I'm familiar with Shasta College's career technical education degrees and certificates. I really appreciate that. That's great. And so that means you have a lot to hopefully find out, even if you just have one takeaway today. It looks like for most of you, that will be a success. And that's awesome. We love that. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And then we are next going to jump into our first program tour, and I've got a series of, there's actually 8 videos, 7 programs, so I'm just going to kind of run through them, and kind of once it starts running, I will probably just stop and go right to the next one. So just when you're watching them, think of some questions that you would have, because obviously we don't have the pleasure of being able to be in person, so we're trying to still foster that for you to have some questions and be able to get those answered as we go through. But, you know, just take a look, take a watch, sit back, enjoy it. It's going to be about 30 minutes of video by the time we're all said and done, but it'll be different people, so it'll change up a little bit. But then kind of when we come back together, we're going to then have about a 5-minute stretch break because everyone's eyes are going to be tired, and we get that. So without further ado, and as long as my, you know, sound shares, which is always the other fun, you know, thing, you never know what's going to happen with Zoom, we're going to move right into that.
Hi, my name is Dr. Audra Harrell, and I am the agriculture instructor here at Shasta College. So I went to Merced College in the Central Valley for my associate's degree in animal science, and then I transferred to Chico State for my bachelor's of science in animal science. I've done a lot of community theater, so I've been in several plays. I play the piano, I play the violin, the guitar, and the ukulele. What we're really proud of with our students here at Shasta College is that they leave not only with a degree, but with transferable skills that can take them directly into the workforce. We have this, you know, huge farm. We have animals. We have crops. The students learn how to, you know, drive tractors. They learn how to plant crops and harvest them. They learn how to take care of the animals. They learn how to take care of the greenhouses. We have 8 students that live on the farm full time, and they work all over the farm. They, you know, they drive the trailers, they drive the tractors, they take care of the animals. They're there, you know, at the 2 a.m. checks when animals are having babies. So I would say Shasta College is a very unique agriculture education experience that you just can't get in other parts of California or even across the country. I am standing in our goat facility here at Shasta College. So I'm going to give you a tour of some of our animal facilities today and our non-animal farm facilities. Here at Shasta College, you get a lot of really cool hands-on experience with our animals. And some of those things include vaccinating the animals, taking care of their feet, nutritional maintenance, all of the things that are a part of everyday life for farms. So here you get to come and you get to work with these animals. You'll get to help when they have babies, take care of them when they're very small, and then get to see them grow through all of their nursing stages, weaning stages, and up through the time that they're sold. Here is one of our grazing pastures. We graze goats and we graze cattle on this pasture, and one of the cool things about coming out here is that you as a student get to learn how we manage these pastures and get to help move the animals around throughout the pastures. It's going to be very, very exciting to be a student here at Shasta College because we're having all of this new equipment come in, and you as a student will get to learn how to operate that equipment, how to grow the plants that then make our hay, and then harvest it and bale it and then feed it to the animals. So it's really a full cycle. Here we are in the nursing deck of our swine facility at Shasta College. You'll see here behind me we have a couple litters of piglets that we just weaned, and we currently have around 20 sows and 2 boars here at the college. So one of the things that you guys get to do is come down and experience farrowing, so when the mamas are having their babies, and then management of nursing mamas, newly weaned babies, and growing piglets. We get to go through and teach you guys how to detect if an animal is unhealthy and how to treat it and help it get better. Here behind me is the Shasta College beef facility. We have 20 cows here at Shasta College. At this facility, you get to experience breeding of the animals. So during breeding season, we do artificial insemination. Students are directly involved in that. You get to come out, you get to learn the process. And once those cows have been bred, we come back in at 30 days and we ultrasound them for pregnancy. So students are also involved in that. You get to come out, you get to have your hands on the animals, have your hands in the animals, get to learn how to diagnose pregnancy, diagnose potential problems. The students are out here feeding animals. They're out here at 2 a.m., 4 a.m. doing calving checks when those animals are having babies, and then understanding, the cleaning process and vaccination process, ear tagging, all of those things that make a beef operation what it is. Cattle are big animals, so you have to have a really efficient program in order for students to feel safe, and it's a pretty great area to work in.
Okay, you guys are all going to be in an experiment with me. We're going to see if it goes right to my next one or if I have to go back out and start it. Look at that. Yes.
My name is Lamone Waite. I am a horticulture instructor here at Shasta College, and I have been for the last 20 years. I used to pack people into the Marble Mountain Wilderness as a teenager, and that was my job, as I was a camp cook and packer and took people into the wilderness on usually week-long, sometimes 2-week-long excursions where I spent my summers in the Marble Mountain Wilderness. And I started my first formal educational experience at College of Siskiyous. I really believe in really helping students along their educational journey. So we try to be as flexible as possible and making sure that they can meet their educational goals while still juggling, life as well. Right now there is a huge need for people to go into what we call the green industry. I get calls all the time for people that are looking for workers that can go right to work. Right now we have a poinsettia crop that's growing that students planted. They've done all the fertilization, they've done all of the pinching and things that shape the plant, and then they'll be part of the selling of it as well. And so it's those kinds of fun things that kind of build teamwork and just build camaraderie, and we enjoy ourselves. We have a good time. We're going to take you on a bit of a tour this morning. We have our outdoor classroom that's right behind me here, and that area is where we do all of our transplanting, plant propagation, as well as other activities like irrigation testing and some of our landscaping activities that require more bench work. So let me take you on a tour of our greenhouses and our arboretum and show you some plants. So if you'll follow me. We're here in our first greenhouse 1. This is our propagation greenhouse, and we start all of our plants here either from seed or cuttings. Right now we have a lot of little vegetable starts, so here's a tray of peppers and tomatoes that we've started. Our students get a chance to start everything from cuttings to seeds to grafting other things that we are working with propagating plants. So it all starts in this house here, and then we have different growing houses for different types of plants, and we'll show you those next. This is greenhouse number 2, and this house is our certified organic house, and we are certified by the CCOF, to be a certified organic program, and we teach students all the steps it takes in order to become a certified organic grower. As you can see, we have a bunch of certified organic vegetable starts in here, so we teach students to do that, and then we sell the vegetable seedlings at a plant sale. We're here in greenhouse number 5. This is our big commercial greenhouse. In this greenhouse is where we grow the majority of our crops for our nursery. So we have a school nursery here that we're able to sell a lot of different plants to the general public, and students get to learn all aspects of nursery operations. We also teach hydroponics in this house, and so we have a hydroponics table and we grow hydroponic lettuce and other crops just to show students how you have to treat things differently when you're growing hydroponically. This is our outdoor nursery facility, and it's called a shade house. This is where we grow a lot of our trees, shrubs, native plants, and we train students on plant ID and how to care for, plant, and propagate and grow all of those native plants and shrubs. And then we take those and use our arboretum, which we'll show you next. This is our arboretum area, and this is where we teach students about plant care, landscape design, irrigation, repair, and troubleshooting. We have an 1.5 acres here that students get to play with and train on.
Hi, my name is Melissa Marquis. I'm the Forestry and Natural Resources instructor at Shasta College. You know, when I think about what got me into natural resources and loving the forest and loving and being outdoors, it was those summer times where my mom would just say, go outside and play. We'd, collect flowers and put them in presses, look for signs of wildlife. And I think that really kind of got me interested and passionate about the outdoors and the protection and management of our natural resources. The Forestry and Natural Resources program at Shasta College has 2 different associate's degrees. There's an associate's in natural resources and an associate's in forest science and technology. And we also have a certificate in natural resources as well. So you can kind of stack those on top of each other if you're interested in doing that. We're what they call interdisciplinary. We do plant identification, we look at wildlife, water quality, soils, and kind of how all of those different things intermingle together and how we can manage those to protect our natural resources for now and for future generations. One of the things that you find in the students in the Forestry and Natural Resources program is we're what I call outdoor cats, right? So you can say you have indoor cats and outdoor cats, and we like to get outside. We go up to the woods, we go to the creek that's behind campus, we use the trees that are around campus as well. You don't necessarily find us in the classroom as much as you would in some of the other programs around campus. The classes are relatively small in terms of the number of students that are in the program, so we get kind of groups of students that are cohorts and they get to know each other and move through classes together, so we're a pretty tight-knit program. We have a Forestry and Natural Resources Club as well that the students can do extracurricular things with, so it's a really fun program and we get to go out and play outside. Yeah, you kind of find that the students, when they go from classes to classes together, they really get to know each other, and so they can study together. Sometimes you find that they'll do extracurricular things together once they get to know each other, so they'll go out and go on hikes together for the weekend and collect plants for plant ID class, or just go to the woods together, camping, those sorts of outdoor activities that the students really enjoy. We're in sort of a natural resources crisis in California, and there's definitely an increased interest in how we manage our forests, especially because of the catastrophic wildfires that we've had over the last several years. There's a mix of types of positions a student with a degree in our area can get. There are jobs that are in the private sector, companies like Sierra Pacific Industries, WM Beatty and Associates, other private timber management companies. There's also a lot of federal and state jobs. So for the federal side, you could be a forestry technician for the Forest Service and get to spend your days out in the woods all summer long. You could work for Fish and Wildlife Service or the California Department of Fish and Wildlife if you're more on the wildlife side of things. And if plants are more your thing, you can be a botany technician and go out and look at rare plants and make sure that as they do any sort of fuels treatment or timber harvesting, that those plants are protected. In terms of starting salaries, someone with an associate's in our area would expect to have an average starting salary of around $40,000 per year. Some are higher than that. And there's also, one of the benefits of our program is there's a lot of seasonal work. So our students are often able to find a summer job in their fields that pays really well, a little bit more fun than maybe flipping burgers or working out at the docks at Shasta Lake, and they can make some good money, get some really good hands-on experience that they're then able to bring back to the classroom. So we always have employers that are looking to hire our students for the summer as well.
Hi, I'm John Livingston. I'm a full-time instructor in the heavy equipment program here at Shasta College. Well, I actually was a student here back in the 70s. I went for 2.5 years and then transferred down to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm a hands-on person. I like doing project work. I like being outdoors. So this kind of work really fits my personality. In this program, we are all about hands-on learning. It's about having your butt in the seat and physically getting out there and getting dirty, not being afraid to try new things. I want to see them succeed in what their career goal is and land out there in the job where they want to go. Coming out of the program, if they just have our certificate, they're going to probably start in the $16 to $18 an hour range if they're not working for a union company. If they go into construction, they're working for a union company, then they're going to be up 28 bucks an hour and more. If they get the A license, a commercial driver's license from us, then it's higher than that. I really care about them. I really want to see them succeed.
Hi, I'm Rick Boutinger. I am a heavy equipment instructor here, and I primarily teach the heavy logging equipment. My background in industry was logging. I was a logger for 20 years. When I was going to college here, I graduated from this program in 1988, and I actually worked my way through college working for a local logger here. So now coming in and being able to share my experiences with a new generation is just, I'm just having the time of my life. So Shasta College is now a licensed timber operator in the state of California. By having that license, we are able to produce a product, the logs that we can sell to Sierra Pacific Industries, and in turn, we get revenue from that pays for our operating expense for this class. So the most successful students that I see are go-getters. You have to be someone that really wants to work. When a student graduates from our program with a certificate in logging, the job opportunity for them is just wide open. There's such a shortage of logging workers right now. Starting wage for somebody with no experience is usually around $17 an hour. With experience, equipment operators in the woods can make upwards of about $35 an hour.
Hey, welcome to the Shasta College Heavy Equipment Training. This is a site where we hold our labs. The students train on this truck. It's a 4,000-gallon water tender, and it's used for keeping dust down on the roads or out on the project area. Okay, our Komatsu 655 motor grader. This is the biggest machine in our fleet. All the students get to operate this machine. They get to use it out here, blading dirt, smoothing dirt, forming roads. Behind me is the Komatsu D61 Bulldozer. This dozer is also contracted with CAL FIRE for firefighting during fire season. The students that train on this, some of them go into the industry and they go with experience on a dozer that actually gets out there. I'm standing in front of our John Deere 550K bulldozer. The students learn in our advanced class how to use the satellite system. Okay, here's our Komatsu 130 excavator. This is a really popular machine. The students love running the excavator. It's used for trenching, used for lifting, moving stuff. And this is also set up with a satellite control system like the 550K bulldozer. Right here behind me is our John Deere 210 grading tractor. This is probably one of the first machines you're gonna actually run when you get hired out of the program, because it's a nice, safe little machine for them to try you out on and get some experience. All the machinery that I've shown you are used in our one-year heavy equipment certificate program. It's a very hands-on training program. Students that get our certificate are going to work for local companies. Some are going into the fire industries. There's also students going into logging. If you're interested in getting training, you can always contact me at Shasta College.
My name is Rick Boutinger. I am an instructor at Shasta College, and today we're out on my job site where I have students running heavy logging equipment. This is a new program. Students learn all about logging operation. They learn how to identify trees, why it's important to manage our forest, and then they actually learn about the whole logging process.
We initially heard about this program as it was part of a grant solicitation that we funded. We were very excited to see the industry and Shasta Community College come together to start developing this program, and we looked at that as an opportunity to invest money in workforce development. We're helping rural economies, but larger than that, this sort of work is to treat those landscapes for endemic types of insects and diseases, but also for fire, and make them more resilient to climate change.
Before this program, it was generations coming up, fathers teaching kids, and we don't have that anymore. There's not a lot of that going on, and so this program is super important to introduce people to, what logging is all about.
It really benefits us to have people and future potential employees who they've actually already decided once they go through this program that they want to work in the woods.
We needed the next generation of workforce. This truly was that perfect partnership, and with CAL FIRE's grants, it really made this all come together and happen.
It was a blast. It's something I never imagined I would really be doing, and now that I get to experience it, it's a thrill.
Hi, my name's Clancy Mitchell. I'm the truck driving instructor here at Shasta College. I've been driving trucks since I was in high school. A good friend of mine's dad owned a construction company. I started off as a laborer. Next thing you know, I was driving trucks. Another friend of mine's dad owned a service station with a tow truck. I started driving that. I went to college, and there I drove to get through college. I went through the Butte College Police Academy, and then I got hired by the Highway Patrol, where I spent 25 years. While there, I spent 7 years in the commercial trucking of the department, where I was inspecting trucks and dealing with truck drivers all day, every day. I ended up retiring in 2014. I still work for the Lassen County Sheriff's Department, kind of on a voluntary basis. The opportunity came here at Shasta College for a full-time truck driving instructor, and I thought this would be a great opportunity because I have a perspective that many truck drivers don't, having worked for the Highway Patrol. We start off the program trying to instruct the students to be able to pass the permit exam, which is a written exam with DMV. At the same time, during the lab hours, we're conducting the pre-trip inspections, which is a big hurdle for the students to conquer if they're going to get their Class A driver's license. And the final portion, of course, is the driving part, which is in the later half of the semester. You do not drive until you get your permit. So there's an incentive to get your permit early so you can start driving sooner. So this is not an easy class. It takes diligence, perseverance, it takes time outside of class. So the most serious students do the best. They come in with their permits earliest, and they start driving sooner, and they focus intently on getting this driver's license. And those are the ones that do the best. We tell them when they come here that we are about getting the license. We're not about the grades or the units. Success here is getting your license, and it takes a lot of work. So we have the flatbed trailer over there, and then we have the box trailer over here. The rental truck comes with a box trailer as well. Fortunately, our trailers are shorter, which gives the students advantage. Of course, we want to get them their driver's license. They're going to do the bulk of the learning after they have obtained their license and they get hired. And we were clear about that from the beginning. We're here to help them get their license, but the learning just begins there. Once they start driving with their employers, where the learning really starts. So this program doesn't exist without partnerships in the community. One of our primary partners is Sierra Pacific Industries. They've donated one of our trailers. So our industry partners also take some of our higher level students, and they will take them into their trucks and drive on any given day. Instead of coming to class, they would go drive with them to get a higher level perspective. Our partners are part of the core of the program, and without them we don't succeed. So there's no secret right now, there's thousands of truck driving opportunities all over the country, and Northern California is no exception. And we're finding that the more companies that find out about our program, the more interested in recruiting our successful students. We have a 2-week recruitment period where we allow those companies to come talk to our students, make their pitch. There's more to truck driving than just the money. It's the equipment that you're operating, and it's real important for truck drivers, how often do I get home? So all these companies get to make their pitch because each type of trucking is different. Each company is different. Our students also get that end of it as well. So even if they don't want to work for that type of company, they kind of learn what kind of trucking is out there so they have the broader picture. So it's my understanding there's at least 60,000 new trucking jobs per year in the nation, many of those right here in Northern California. Those jobs start anywhere from $22 an hour. There's recruiting incentives. There's also jobs that pay driving by the mile. Depends the type of trucking you get into. But there is no truck company out there that I've run into anyway that says, I have enough drivers, I don't need any. Too many companies have trucks sitting. Too many companies have struggles maintaining their drivers because drivers are like free agents now. So they get a better opportunity over here, they're going to take it because it's their season. It is a driver's market right now.
I'm Ray Nicholas. I'm one of the diesel technology instructors here at Shasta College. Diesel technology program is one of the oldest programs on campus. I don't think ag is even as old as ours. What got me interested in diesel technology is I was born and raised on a ranch in McLeod, California. The very first vehicle I changed the oil on I still have. It's a 1942 Chevy 1.5-ton truck that my grandfather bought brand new during World War II. And I changed that oil when I was 6 years old. And most people that know me know this about me, but I'm an avid drag racer. I've been doing it since high school. I actually own 3 drag cars. Yeah, looking at me, you might not think it, but I love it. When I give tours in person, I like to always say how many people think they've had diesel touch their life today. We're standing in one side of the diesel technology department. On campus, we have what's known as the industrial area, which encompasses auto, diesel, advanced manufacturing, and welding. So in this area, a student would expect to come in and be doing anything from simple tune-up on an engine to troubleshooting an engine's operating problems to actually completely disassembling the engine, putting it back together. Also transmissions and differentials, we basically disassemble them, reassemble them, learn how to put them together correctly. And then of course the live trucks, if we bring trucks in, we can do everything from brakes to air conditioning. We have a tremendous simulation setup. You can actually work on a air brake system without having to actually be under the truck, and you're looking at some of that here right now also. When it comes to job opportunities, we tend to try to place them in what we call worksite learning environments. They might be being paid, they might not be being paid, but ultimately job placement is what I would say more than 100%. As far as opportunity, it can't get any better than that, and it's also worldwide. I mean, people are recruiting from everywhere right now. Entry-level pay, as far as diesel is concerned, amongst anything else, probably the highest. Entry level is about $25 an hour. We have former students that are making as much as $100 an hour currently, so it's a very lucrative field.
My name is Ishmael Rivas, one of the diesel instructors here at Shasta College. I've been here at Shasta College almost 4 years teaching now, but I've been teaching almost 15 years total. I taught up at Portland Community College in Portland, Oregon for almost 11 years before coming back. A little background about me. When I went through this program, I did not think I was going to be a teacher. My goal was to work, years and years in a field truck, but I was very blessed, very lucky to be in this trade. Doing what I love. If you are a new student here in our diesel technology program, we try to get you right into engine. In this side of the diesel program, I teach all the hydraulics classes now. I really love hydraulics. In our hydraulics classes, our students will first learn about the basics of hydraulics and how hydraulics work, the advantages to hydraulics. And in our advanced hydraulics classes, we'll go into actually testing machines, working on machines, repairing cylinders. We have quite a few machines here on campus that we get to work on, loaders and backhoes, excavators that we can actually set pressures on. So it's real life experience, which is what our students need. So we try to put as much of that in as we possibly can. Being a diesel tech is actually very lucrative. A lot of people don't think about it as being a lucrative industry. There are very, very few technicians coming into the trade. All of our industry partners are looking for more and more technicians. So our students have pretty much can go anywhere they want. If they get through the program, there's people hiring at all times. We just had 3 students placed recently, and they started about $24 an hour. So right now we are standing in where all of our hydraulics classes take place. Our advanced engine electronics classes take place over here. Right now it's set up more for hydraulics. So we do our basic hydraulics, which uses a lot of our training boards, which are kind of in my backdrop here. And then the machine I'm standing next to here is a Hydrostatic Trainer. You see these machines, or maybe you don't even think about it, but they are all over the place, and there are not enough technicians to work on them. So our industry has pushed us really hard to get more and more training, which we have. So that's part of the reason we have good placement, because we do make sure our students have hands-on experience.
I was started at Shasta College as a student. I actually took every class that we offer here, I took as a student. I love welding. I'm passionate about welding. I'm passionate about teaching. It's a mixture of art and science. And for me, that ticks off a lot of boxes for satisfaction. With welding, I have something that I've built and I have constructed, and I can see all of the sweat and blood and sometimes tears that I have poured into that object. In my class, I live and breathe welding. You know, at home, I love to garden. You know, you think of a rough and tough welder, and at home I'm delicately taking care of my tomato plants. You know, a lot of students come to this program and they're looking for a career. Half of the gross domestic product of the United States involves welding. And so in all of its forms or fashions, over hundreds of welding processes, you can make upwards of $45, $50, $60 an hour as well as a welder. So it depends on how much you invest in your education and your knowledge arc within the industry. I like to have a good time. We have to stay productive and utilize our time wisely, but I want to make sure that everybody has a good time and that they enjoy the process of welding. All right, welcome to Shasta College Welding Department. This is our 2600 lab. We have our fabrication course, of which we have our CNC shear, cold saw, Piranha, and a lot of other fabrication equipment, which trains you to become an efficient fabricator within the industry. We also have 28 booths. So this is the booth we're talking about. It says loaded with equipment, with about $10,000 to $12,000 in equipment. So this is kind of the world you live in when you're learning how to weld. And it really gives you a clear picture of what it takes to be a welder and all of the little skills to make you successful. This is the 2500 building, our other lab, and it rounds out all of the 5 major processes that we need to work with. Our program here is really designed to take somebody with 0 to a little bit of welding skill, and in 1,100 hours with our certificate or degree program, make you a competent welder ready to enter the workforce and make a living.
Hi, my name is Rick Osbrick. I'm the full-time industrial technology instructor here at Shasta College. My current hobbies right now are my children. I have 2 young kids that we like to go out and do a lot of hiking and fishing. So I went to Shasta College myself. I'm a graduate from here. In the advanced manufacturing program, you know, we teach you a lot of the basics. We teach you how to operate the equipment safely, and then also a lot of the core foundational skills like precision measurement. How do we measure down to fractions of an inch? We also make tools and all sorts of different fun products here at the college. You know, one of the things that you can expect is just to have a lot of fun in learning some of the base skills, learning some of the foundational skills. Some of the pay, you know, it can start anywhere from about $18 to $20 an hour, depending on the partner that you work with, and it can get up to $65, $70 an hour for some of the higher end manual machining jobs here in the North State. Welcome to our advanced manufacturing facility. So I'd like to take you on a tour. This is a brand new building. It was built in the summer of 2019. So over here we have our manual machining area. These are some Bridgeport Mills. We have 6 of them. This is a machine that's used for creating complex shapes, drilling holes, tapping holes, that sort of thing. So let me take you and show you some of our other pieces of equipment that we have. So on this side of the shop, we have our manual lathe. Unlike the Bridgeport Mills where we take a bit and we spin that bit up to cut through our workpiece, over here we spin our workpiece in a chuck. So with these 2 pieces of equipment, we can create very complex, very tight tolerance parts that fit together. So welcome to the CNC side of our shop. So over here we have 2 vertical milling centers, our VF1 and our CM1. We also have a CNC lathe as well, our ST10. So these function pretty much the same as the manual equipment does, only on this one's we slap a computer on it and we let it do the work. So in the class you learn how to not only operate the equipment, but you also learn the programming language involved in it. Our classroom facilities are state-of-the-art as well. So in this classroom you'll learn CAD, CAM, computer-aided design, and computer-aided manufacturing, along with all of the other things associated with machining.
Okay. I think that is going to be played later. So I'm going to stop share now. We are going to come back, and we are just right for take a little break. Hopefully everyone was able to hear everything well on those videos and gave you some good information and some things to think about. So we're going to go ahead and head to a break. We're going to come back at 1:50, so a 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll launch right into our hands-on activity. Does that work for everyone?
That's great.
Excellent.
So we will need a drink of water, use the restroom, take your break. And we'll see everybody back in 5 minutes.
Hi, Lamone.
Sorry, I had to enter that freaking long passcode. Not.
I mean, all the Zooms that we do constantly, I think I just assume that's everyone just drops it in their location and you just click your calendar and you're in. You don't have to go through.
It was in my calendar. I clicked that link and it still kept asking me for a passcode. And so I don't know.
That's weird. Huh, well, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm glad that you stuck with it to get through. I'm sure the students are excited to have this happen. They're on a little break right now. They'll be back at 1:50.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lamone.
I just want to make sure I can see everything, like everybody can see okay. Is that all right? Okay.
Yep, get yourself set up however you need.
I'm all set up, I think. We'll see.
Lamone, this is Dana.
Hi, Dana.
This is Lamone. So Dana's the coordinator for the group.
Hi, Lamone. Thank you so much for the kits for everybody. They were wonderful. I know everybody's really excited to get to use them. I got them all delivered last week and all the plants were still alive.
Well, that's always good.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop my video for just a second and
Lamone, are you currently having any in-person labs? Yes.
Hey, just a minute, I'm calling somebody, but yeah, and all my labs are in person.
Yay.
okay, just another minute and then we will get started and I'll make our next introduction and we are 100% right on time. That's so exciting.
And I'm assuming, Becky, all the students need to make sure that they have their kits handy.
Yes, absolutely. So we are back at 1:50, and if you have cameras that you can turn on, it would be great if you could. And I would love to introduce to you our horticulture faculty, Lamone Waite, who so kindly put your kits together for you. But she's going to lead you through a hands-on kind of transplanting activity, so you can get a little tiny taste of what horticulture is like at Shasta College. So you all saw Lamone in her video showing you the greenhouses and all the facilities and kind of describing what she does. So Lamone, thank you so much for carving out some time to be here with us today. And you will have the opportunity a little bit later on, if you want to join Lamone's breakout room, and to be able to, ask her some questions or talk with her one-on-one as well. So keep that in mind too. And I just realized at the very top of our time together, I completely did not even introduce myself. I'm Becky Rowe with Shasta College, and I actually work with the logging and heavy equipment program. But always just a pleasure to put these kinds of things together and work with Dana to just share with all of you all of the different opportunities that are out there for you. So Lamone, I'm going to turn it over to you without further ado.
All right, well, hi everyone. It's great to see all of you here. I see that it looks like we have students from all over Tehama County, so that's pretty awesome. I hope all of you received a tomato plant, and I have one here. Mine's a little bit larger because I sent you guys smaller ones just so that they would be ready to transplant when you were doing this activity. And then we have, as you saw in our tour, we have 5 different greenhouses here, and we grow all sorts of vegetable starts and native plants all year long, so that we sell them at we have a nursery that we sell them at. So I have students that work in our nursery and do all sorts of activities with everything from starting seeds, starting cuttings, transplanting, all of that. And then our other part of our program is we do a lot of landscaping. So we actually teach landscape maintenance and landscape construction and that part of it. But today you're gonna transplant a tomato plant. And one of the nice things about tomato plants is that they'll root all along their stem. So I don't know if you can see the little fine hairs all along the stem there, but these 2 little small leaves at the bottom are what we call the cotyledon leaves. Those are the seed leaves. So when the seed germinates, these are the leaves that are folded up inside of the seed, and they are the first thing that starts to grow as the seed emerges from the soil. So it grows a root on going down, and the little seed leaves that come up. And then we call the leaves that emerge above that the true leaves. And so these seed leaves usually sort of dry up and fall off after the plant starts to grow for a little while. So we can bury our stem all the way up past these seed leaves to give it a more root system and just make it to where it's not such a leggy plant. We call plants that get kind of tall and long like this kind of leggy. I chose a plant that has two plants in it because I'm going to divide my plant, but you guys should only have 1 in yours. When you're going to pull it out of the pot, and if it doesn't come out easily, kind of squeeze it and then pull it out. You want to hold it kind of by the base of the plant. So down here or on the base of the stem. And then I'm going to pull mine apart just because I have two plants. But you can just have your plant as a single plant. Hopefully you have a lot of roots. You'll see how my roots are starting to kind of twine around a little bit. We don't want to have that root bound, so if you need to, you can kind of score and break those roots apart a little bit. So don't feel free to kind of rip a few of those roots off, kind of break them up a little. I will break it a little bit. That stimulates the roots to start growing back out into the pot. If you leave them just twining around like that, it eventually, what we call it root bound, and the roots just keep going tighter and tighter, and so they'll actually kind of choke that little seedling or your tree or whatever kind of plant you're planting. It'll choke it and keep it from actually growing. So we don't want to have that happen. So we want to score those roots. If you have a sharp fingernail, a knife, you can cut through them, or you can just kind of rip them apart gently. So you should have your plant. It should be, here's your plant looking like this. You can set that down for a minute. And then you're gonna take your pot and you're gonna put just a little bit of soil on the bottom. So you should have a bag of soil there. Just, you're putting about that much soil in it. I don't know if you can, I'm not sure my camera is gonna be cooperative here, but if you can see there, there's just a little bit of soil in there. And then you're going to set your plant in your pot and put it all the way to the bottom. And remember, we're gonna bury this thing all the way up the stems, right? So you wanna have it in there pretty deep. So your soil level, notice that my soil level is down this deep in my hand, like my soil is down there. So it's down to my second knuckle. So you can bury your plant pretty deep. And then you're just gonna hold your plant kind of upright and you're gonna fill the pot with soil. I like to get it up to this rim. So you'll see there's a little rim on the edge of this pot. So right around the top here, there's a rim. That's called the freeboard, and that's how much water you need to add to the top of this pot in order for it to soak through and water the whole plant. So you want your soil level to go right up to that rim. We want to have plenty of soil in the pot so that the plant has plenty of room for its roots to grow, but we don't want to overfill it so that when we water it, the water runs off and doesn't get into the pot too. So you want to fill it right to that freeboard. And then I don't like to press the soil down because we want to have nice fluffy soil filled with air around the roots, and so I'll just take the pot and kind of tap it on the table or whatever, and so that your soil settles. And if it settles a little bit, you can add just a little bit more soil. And the reason that you want to tap it down is because you do want good root to soil contact. So you don't want to keep the roots with air pockets around them. So that'll dry out, and so you want to have that soil touching the roots, but you don't want to have the soil pressed down so compacted around the roots that it hurts the roots. So your pot should then be planted sort of like this, and then you can put your label back in the pot so you remember what type of tomato it is. And then you'll water it in. So you'll have some water. I have a jug of water here, and you just water your tomato plant, and you want to make sure that you do that pretty quickly after transplanting because you've disturbed the roots. So you want to make sure you've done it within a little while of planting. Otherwise, your tomato plant may start to wilt. You can keep it in. I saw in the chat at least one question. It's hard to monitor the chat while I'm chatting away at you, but I saw one question is how long should it stay in the pot? It can probably stay in this pot for another couple weeks, and then usually in Tehama County around the first part of April, you guys can safely plant your tomato plants out without any danger of frost. Up in our area, it's usually about mid-April that we have to worry about it, but you guys are about 2 weeks ahead of us on average, so you should be fine to plant it out in your garden at that point. So any questions? I think I had about 10 minutes if I'm remembering, so I don't want to run over my time. Any questions for me? Let me see. Let me check the chat. But there was other questions besides the one I saw there.
Lamone, you have, we have a few minutes. Yeah. So if you have questions,
okay.
If you have questions for Lamone, please go ahead. You can either drop them in the chat, or you can just ask him. If you're like those of you in a classroom, if your instructor can unmute you, we'll be happy to get those questions to her and get those answered for you.
Well, I can chat about tomatoes forever, so I can keep going. But do you have any questions before I keep going? So I'm going to plant my other one. You saw that I divided my plant. I'm going to plant this other one. I don't want that much soil in there. So again, I want plenty of room in there so I can bury it deep. So if you really overgrown tomato plants, so our tomato plants in the sunshine really took off this last couple weeks. And so if you have tomato plants that just really, take off, you can actually take the tomato. Let me take it. I'm going to take it back to the pot again so I can show you. You can actually take your and lay it down in your, like a trench or something that you're planting. So in your garden, you lay it this way and then just, lift the top up, but you could lay it down in your trench and plant it this way. And the tomato plant will root all along its stem. And then you have just that much bigger root system. So your tomato plant does so much better after it's starts going. So it can then tolerate drier spells or hotter spells and just is a happier tomato plant all over. Now, with most plants, you don't want to plant above the root crown. So tomatoes are kind of unique in the fact that they will root all along their stem. And there's a few plants that also will do this. But for the most part, when you are transplanting a plant, you want to plant it what we call right above the root crown. So that would be right above where the roots are coming off here. In this area, that would be where you'd want to plant them. But tomatoes are one of those unique plants that you can plant deep. If you did that with, say, another type of plant, like let's say a pepper plant or something, it's not going to be happy and it may actually die. So, be conscious of which plants you're doing this with.
Limon, can you talk to us about the varieties of tomatoes you sent with us?
Oh, absolutely. And I hopefully I remember now. I think I sent a Cherokee Purple. I don't remember which one was the other one I actually sent. So
I have a Grand Marshal.
Oh yeah, so Grand Marshal is, so I sent, I think I sent two different kinds, a Cherokee Purple and a Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal is a hybridized tomato. And so in tomato breeding, I guess, there's hybrid crosses where they cross two different types of tomatoes and they get what we call hybrid vigor. A lot of people know this from like cattle and things, but it's the same thing with plants as well. With that hybrid vigor usually comes better disease resistance. A lot of times the tomato plants then can tolerate heat or cold or other things better. And so they produce tomatoes more reliably a lot of times. Sometimes they don't have as tasty a tomato plants though, or tomatoes on the plant. So some people prefer heirloom tomatoes, and these are tomatoes that have been bred true for hundreds of years, and they sometimes don't have as good a disease resistance. Sometimes they're a little bit more finicky about weather or something if they're going to produce tomatoes, but they have very tasty tomatoes because people have selected them for hundreds of years because they like the taste of the tomato, right? So the Cherokee Purple is an heirloom tomato, and the Grand Marshal is a hybridized tomato. And the Grand Marshal is supposed to be a determinate tomato, and determinate tomatoes are tomato plants that produce most of their fruit all at once. And they all determinate plants usually produce fruit when they get to a certain age. So let's say they get to 60 days old, they're going to start setting fruit regardless of weather conditions, regardless of how large they are. They'll just set fruit. Where indeterminate tomatoes like the Cherokee Purple, they wait until conditions are just perfect for them to set fruit, and they will set fruit all along. So they might have a little bit of fruit for many months, but they also are sort of picky about when they set the fruit. And we're really hot here in the summer times, and sometimes they say, oh, it's too hot, I can't set fruit, I'm going to wait until like November. And so some people don't like that because they don't want their tomatoes in November, they want them in June. So determinate plants will give you tomatoes when they get to a certain age. So June 15th, they're like, oh, it's time, we're going to set fruit and we're going to have tomatoes. So that's the Grand Marshal. The Cherokee Purple may or may not set fruit in June, depending on how the weather is. So that's the difference. The Cherokee Purples, people tell me, are delicious. I have not grown that variety myself, but I have bought them at the farmer's market and they were quite tasty. But a lot of people prefer the Cherokee Purple because they're so good, tasty.
Excellent. The students from Orland also wanted to know if tomatoes are fibrous or taproot.
So tomatoes have a taproot. Most fibrous rooted plants are in the grass family. So most dicots, which a tomato plant is, have taproots. They do have a lot. Have you noticed, if you notice the root system here, I'll pull my tomato plant out. So fibrous roots, all the roots come off of basically one location and they all kind of sprawl out. Think grasses, if you ever pulled up a grass, it just kind of comes out in a mat. A taproot has a main root that goes down and then it has roots that shoot off. And as you can see, this has a main root that's going down and it has roots that are coming off of that. Its root system is still small. It's not super developed yet. So It might sort of look fibrous, but as you can see, there's a main root going down through there, and then these roots are coming off of it. So if you follow it down, the main root goes all the way, see if I can find, main root goes all the way down here, right? And I've got lots of roots coming off. So it's a taproot. So good question.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lamone. Do we have any other questions? All right. Well, can we all say thank you and hold up your plants that you just transplanted? Let's all see.
Yeah, I want to see how does people plant? Oh, very good. It's looking.
You know what? Everyone holds them up. I'm going to do a little screenshot here. Okay.
Hold up your plants. She's going to do a screenshot.
Hold them up.
Hang on, we're getting them. We're getting them out from the they're watering them.
Oh, that's
totally good.
fine.
I'm glad you're watering right away. That's great.
I will give it a second. I got to kind of set up my screenshot.
Hurry.
Good.
Jump on the
I'll hold my plant up too.
I'm not going to do it until I know we have it. Okay, is everybody ready?
Mackenzie, where's yours?
Oh, maybe she's getting water. Okay, Mackenzie, hold up your plant.
Sorry, I have to go talk to my teacher first. I had to wait because I didn't want to leave and go get it. It's in her room.
Okay, no worries.
That's all right.
That's okay. You just stay in there and smile, though. We want you in the picture. Okay, everyone ready? I'm going to do like 3, so just keep smiling. Oh, I guess I should smile too.
That'd be good.
All right, perfect. Virtual field day accomplished. Lamone, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Lamone.
And then again, we'll have Lamone. Lamone will be in breakout room number 2 for horticulture. And we're going to talk about breakout rooms in just 1 second before we introduce our Shasta College Ag Leadership students who I see have joined us. Thank you. Yes, Lamone.
So, Becky, I'm going to have Jolene sit in for me because I have an emergency come up. I have to run home real quick. So
yeah, no worries. So Jolene,
she's just as knowledgeable as I am about horticulture, so she'll be a good substitute.
That's fantastic. Lamone, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so breakout rooms. We have several of you that are kind of in groups on a camera. So obviously you can't each go to your own individual, like if you have kind of different interests. So I think what I'm going to try to do is we'll kind of set up and kind of rotate through so we hit, you know, pretty much everything. Does anyone have something that they just absolutely 100% specifically want to make sure that they see in the breakout rooms? So the breakouts will be those same areas that we saw the videos for. So agriculture, horticulture, forestry, natural resources, heavy equipment and logging, truck driving, diesel tech, and industrial technology and welding. Do I have anybody that's...
Unmute or write it in the chat.
Yeah, you can drop it in the chat if you want. So I see welding for Las Molinas. I see ag for Markey. Anyone else? Orland, are you trying to say, oh, livestock? Okay, well, so ag, we'll do ag for Orland, okay. Natural resources, heavy equipment for Las Plumas, excellent. We can make sure, I'll make sure you get in both of those. And we have ag for Las Molinas and for Alexia. And Las Plumas. Okay, so it looks like everyone's gonna want a trial for ag for sure. Let's see. Do I have anybody interested in diesel tech or truck driving that I can place into there first? I mean, I'm gonna kind of do some rotating through, but I'll make sure everyone gets to hit ag. I might start a little bit larger group in there at the very first one, so we make sure and get them in there. Okay, excellent, that helps me. I'm gonna start assigning breakout rooms while you're chatting with our Shasta College Ag Leadership students. And then when we come back and we're ready to do that, you'll start going into those breakout rooms. And I'll have you in there. I'll figure out kind of how long you're going to have in each one. And then I'll be doing some pulling you back and then pushing you into other rooms and kind of rotating some groups through, okay? Sound good? Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to turn the floor over to Audra. Do you want to introduce the Ag Leadership students? I have Audra Harrell, Dr. Audra Harrell on the call if she's here. Oh, she is. Look at that. And so you all saw her on the video too. She was in the first one with the Ag. But I'll let her introduce the Shasta College students, and I'm going to go take care of some paperwork on the back end here.
Hi, everybody. It's a little bit embarrassing because I'm wearing the same outfit that I was wearing in the video. So yeah. All right. So my name is Dr. Audra Harrell, and I am the agriculture instructor here at Shasta College. Additionally, I also am for running the Ag Leadership Program here at Shasta College, which is a really, really fun club and organization that gets to help with professional development skills as well as advocacy for agriculture in our local community. So we get to do a lot of really fun stuff. And I have a couple of those students here to talk with you today, not just about ag leadership, but about being a student here at Shasta College. The ones that are here are also part of our dorm program, which is a live-in program where students get to live on the farm and work on the farm. Animals, plants, equipment, all of it, they get to do it. So they are really, really great resources. And so I hope that you get to ask a lot of questions. Don't be shy. Everybody's going to be shy at first, but yeah, this is what we're here for, is for conversation. So we have Lindsay DeGraff and Callie Tansen on, and I'm looking to see if our other ones are here yet, but doesn't look like they are. So I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay and Callie. I know both of you are in the same frame, so go ahead and introduce yourselves so that they know which ones you are.
Hi, I'm Callie Tansen. This is the start of my second semester here at Shasta. I'm in the farm dorm. I originally came from Orland, and that's about it right now.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. This is my second semester here as well. I am also part of the Farm Dorms program, and I'm majoring in animal science. I'm originally from Marysville.
So both of these ladies are with our Farm Dorm program. So why don't you guys both talk a little bit about why you came to Shasta College and what it's like being in the farm dorm program, and your experiences a little bit. And then we can, I guess, open it up for questions.
So originally I wasn't planning on coming to Shasta College, but then I was introduced to the Farm Dorm program, and that was kind of my deciding factor whether to come here or not. And so I ended up applying for the program and got in. So coming to Shasta College has been one of the best decisions I've made, because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do during high school. Like, I had a plan, but I wasn't completely sure, set on my career or anything. So coming to the community college has allowed me to open my horizon a little bit more and to find like more what I want to do. And being a part of the Farm Dorm program, I'm also getting that hands-on experience. So right now I'm a part of the beef unit, where last semester I was part of the goat unit, and we got to kid calves, and then we were also kid goats and then have calves this semester.
Yeah, and I came to Shasta kind of for the same reason. I didn't really know about the Farm Dorm program, and then someone taught to me about it, and I applied, got in, and that was my deciding factor. But it's amazing. I was on beef last semester, and now I'm on goats. But it's a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from like what I haven't known. Like, I've grown a lot, I feel like, and it's a great like team working, like team building, like opportunity for everyone, I feel like. And it's just, you get really close with everyone, and it's a lot of fun.
So being a part of the Farm Dorm program, there's 4 boys and 4 girls in the house, and we co-live together. And so like, we cook dinners together, we go shopping once a week to get food for the house, and then we have our daily duties we have to do for feeding, for chores, morning and night. And then Jonas, who's the farm manager, and then along with Audra, they help us if we have any questions, and with the livestock, making nutritional feeding, like rations. And
yeah, we so like we have pigs, goats, cattle, and a bunch of pasture and hay land. So for the cattle and the goats, we have hay, and so like we make our own feed or hay mixtures. So we chop hay and we mix it all together kind of and feed it to the cows and the goats. And then pig feed, we make our own pig feed. So we get to learn like the process of all that and how it needs to get done and like the components of it all, which is really cool. But not only like we grow our own hay, so we get to start like from the plant all the way till it goes into the hay bale until it gets fed.
So now you kind of know a little bit more about like the Farm Dorm program, coming to like the leadership side. So our leadership club puts on multiple different events during the school year. So this year was a little bit different. So we did like an virtual field day. We've done like trying to do virtual tours. But other than that, like we usually have like a fall festival. We have our field day usually in person.
We have Christmas trees, Harvest Fest. What else do we have? Country Christmas. Mm-hmm. We have a lot, I feel like, that we don't really have the experience with at the moment. But we've kind of gotten a little taste of it. We actually got to do Christmas trees, like semi in person. We got to do it, which was a lot of fun. Not at the capacity that we used to, obviously, but in the sense of it all, and we got a taste for it, and it was a lot of fun. You got some great connection with the community.
All right, so a little bit now that we've talked about it, you guys have any questions you would like us to answer about our program?
You can either put those questions in the chat or you can ask them if you unmute yourself. Either way works.
Everybody's pretty quiet.
Oh, come on, somebody has to have a question.
I'm gonna say, in the initial poll, most of you said you didn't really know much about Shasta College. So here's a great chance to ask them about maybe what's your student life like now with COVID versus normally, because you guys have been for both. Are you looking forward to getting back into a normal sense of school? And
so there is a question, there's two different questions, one from Las Plumas High School. How many students apply each year for the farm dorm?
Well, because of like yeah, I feel like this is more of an Audra question because we don't really know, and last year was definitely a little different than normal.
So yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. Usually in a normal year, we get anywhere upwards of 30 applications that we go through, and then we'll narrow that down to probably 15 that we interview. This past year, we wound up getting, I want to say like 17 total, even though we extended the deadline. And I think that had a lot to do with schools suddenly transitioning online right around the time that all of our dorm applications were coming in and things like that. So I think that really impacted our applications. But yeah, normally we get upwards of 30 applications a year, roughly. So we interview about half of that, and then 8 of those individuals, we take 8 students total. So
I saw another question. It says, do the farm workers get paid? So we get paid on holidays. So like for our Christmas break, our like spring break, our random Monday holidays, you do get paid then. And for like when it comes to like working like weekends and stuff, you are typically like placed to work like typically once a month. So it's usually about 4 times a semester, and it rotates. So one week it'll be 2 sets of the roommates, and then next week it'll be completely 2 different 2 people.
And so we have like unit partners that we work with. You won't always work with your unit partner on weekends. You'll work with different people. So generally the answer to that is yes, but no. I mean, during like any time non-vacation wise, we get school credit for it. We get like college credit for it. So we do kind of get more experience for it and like a reward for it, I would say.
So we get paid like with our housing. So you have to work a minimum of 14 hours a week to pay for housing, because you only pay $125 a month for food. That's all you have to pay per month. And if there's anything additional you would like to bring in yourself, you can do that. But pretty much like your living utility, like everything's for living on the farm, you work your pretty much what you would live for. So
yeah, and that 125 is once a month for food, and that's pretty much it. We don't really pay for anything else. We don't pay for electricity or water or anything really, and that's just covered by us working pretty much.
So there's a question that says, are there any additional costs to be a part of this program? What are you meaning by that? What do you want to get at?
Feel free to unmute yourselves and ask in person, Las Plumas. That would be great.
Okay.
Oh, you covered it.
Girls, what is something that you didn't expect to take away from being part of this program? Is there anything that has come out of it that was unexpected in a good way or a bad way, I guess?
I would say for me especially, it was like I came from I was an only child, so living to learn with other people, especially co-ed, so living with 4 boys and 3 other girls, it was like an eye-opener, and it was like, wow, this is going to be an interesting time. But it was a lot of fun because we're like a close-knit family now. You can ask Audra, we have a lot of fun, and we constantly bug them. You could ask Audra, but we have fun when we do it, and we give them a good time, I think. At least I hope we do.
It was definitely a learning experience coming from, because I'm also an only child, so I had never lived with anyone else, and it was just, I moved in with 7 other people, and I had to get to know them. You sleep right next to your roommate and that you never met before. And then also just all the different skills I've learned being here, getting to run all the different machinery, learning about more species of livestock, because I raise sheep. So, I mean, I know about cattle and goats and stuff just through my sheep, but when it came to the pigs, I have no idea. So we, for our pigs, we breed all of our own pigs. So we have our own boars and we collect them multiple times a week. And if we have a sow coming to heat us farm door, it's usually the swine unit will breed them, but we've all got to learn how to do it.
Yeah. One question I see is it limited to 1 year only? No, you can do it 2 years. 2 years, I think, is maybe the max, maybe 3.
I think.
Audra?
Yes, that's correct. So usually your program runs about 2 years here at a community college. You expect to pretty much only be here 2 years. So yeah, you can come in your first year and stay 2 years, or if you'd rather, do your first year not as a dorm student, you can apply the second year and then just do a year. We've done it both ways. So yeah, 2 years is the maximum.
Any other questions?
Do you girls want to talk a little bit about your experience here during everything that's going on with the COVID situation a little bit?
Do you want to talk? I see Taylor's on here, so.
Yeah, we had another dorm student join us, Taylor Aerosmith. So maybe Taylor could share.
Sorry, my unmute wouldn't work. Yeah, I mean, overall, I came from only having one sister, never lived with the boys, or a boy besides my dad. I don't have boy cousins, so it was pretty shocking to me, wow, you guys are different. You do things so much different, and just the living conditions, because the way that I do things in my house is the total opposite of the way we do things in our house. And so it's just like Callie said, it's learning to live with people that you've never even met before, and then you just the next day you're sleeping in the same room with them, which was definitely a shocker to me. But I mean, advice for if you come into a dorm like this is just jump in head first and just have fun with it, because if you ease yourself in, I feel like you get more nervous, you get more setback, where we've been living together for almost a year now. So like Callie said, we are like a family. So it's just, you learn a lot of things like that of how people are really quick when you're living together. And I think that, aside from even farm skills that I've learned, I think those are some of the best skills I've learned of working with people. And you don't get to go home and complain about it because they're in the same room with you. So you really have to work, and you work through your issues together. If it's a work issue, you have to put it past you in the house, or if it's a house issue, you have to put it past you at work. So the working together is probably one of the best things I've learned, and my favorite part of the entire experience is just getting to become so close and everything like that with each other.
Yeah. I saw that they're last minute. So you can find the application. I'm pretty sure the application should have came out today. You can find it on the
just like,
nope.
Audra? Maybe today?
Yes, it's on my list of things to do today. Yes.
Okay. Jonas told me today, so
how about this, Audra? Once you have a link up for an application, if you want to send that to me, then I will get that to Dana, and Dana can make sure and follow up with all of our attendees on today's virtual field day, and we'll make sure and get that application out to you.
I also want to highlight, so for a lot of people don't know and don't apply for this scholarship. So leadership, our ag leadership program, we give out multiple scholarships to returning students and also new incoming students. So you can also find this scholarship on the Shasta College website, and it's due, I think, March 22nd. So it's coming up really soon, but not a lot of people know about it. So if you guys are thinking about coming to Shasta College, I highly recommend applying for it.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions, or you think we're ready to move into our rooms? Okay, so I've got 2 rooms that are going to kind of skip the first round, and then I'll have people in them the second round. And so I'm going to move folks into room. I have the assignments done kind of based on the conversation we had before we were chatting with our Shasta College students. And Shasta College Ag Leadership students, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. Can everyone, do you guys know how to use your little, like your little reactions on your Zoom? Can you guys put up your little hand claps? Let's hand clap for them. Yeah, right on. Oh, I'll even do I'll do a heart. We love our ag leadership. We really do appreciate you guys sharing kind of your experiences with these high school students. It's a kind of a world of unknowns. So being able to have you be able to share and answer questions, it's really important. So thank you so much. And Taylor, thank you for joining us as well. Anyway, so moving into breakout rooms, once I hit kind of send, everyone's going to get sent out to your rooms. Our heavy equipment room right now and our truck driving room right now. We're going to skip the first round. I'm going to leave you in your rooms for about 5 minutes or so, 4 to 5 minutes. And then I'm going to pull you back out and I'll reassign, and then we'll split off into the other rooms. So just so everyone is aware that it's going to run like that. The instructors are waiting and they're there to answer questions. So even if you can't think of a question for sure, right now you can always just ask, this is what I'm taking in high school. If I wanted to do this, what are some things maybe in high school that I could be preparing for, or what would a career in this particular field look like? So those are good kind of icebreaker questions to get the ball rolling too. All right. So, and I see that we have one person joining us, Macy. Macy, who are you with?
Shasta College.
Oh, okay. Are you with one of the programs helping out with a breakout room?
Yeah, I'm with the leadership program.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're just wrapping that piece up, and we're going to be sending students into breakout rooms. And so I think that you can say hi. Do you have anything specific you wanted to share with these high school students, though, as far as your experience in the dorm or with ag leadership?
It's honestly one of the best programs I have been in when it comes to personality-wise along or within the group. Everyone is really good at accepting one another for what you choose to do and helping each other out. The professors are really awesome. They help you when they can and really want to see you succeed.
Well, that just put the perfect little cherry on top for our discussion here. Thank you so much. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to send you off into breakout rooms. Shasta College ag leadership students, I don't have you assigned to rooms. Would you like me to dump you in? Do you guys have time? Do you want me to put you in with Audra? Or do you have the other things that you're moving off to?
I have time.
Well, I'll just dump you in there, and then you can choose not to go if you end up having other things that you need to do. And Dana, what room would you like to join?
Sorry. Just put me in any one, and I'll just rotate me through.
Okay, perfect. I'll kind of pull you in and out, or you can leave so when you're in a breakout room, if you guys are done, you can say leave breakout room. It's going to put you back in this main area. And then you can tell me if there's somewhere specific you would like to go next, or I will just assign you to the next room. So that's always an option too, just so you know. And if something happens and you get dropped out or kicked out and you end up back here, I can put you back in, okay? All right, so Dana, actually, let's see. Dana, I'm going to send you in to chat with Clancy and our truck driving. There's not students in there right now, but it might be helpful information for you if you have some questions for him.
Thank you.
Great. So the only one that we don't have anyone going in right now is heavy equipment, and we will catch that on the next round. So here you go. Thank you all.